Good evening and welcome to Collector Cars. I'm Lance, your host. With me in the studio, the Cruising Report, with me in the, take two, with me in the studio, the Cruising Reporter, Mr. Bill Mergens.
Good evening and welcome to Collector Cars TV. I'm Bill, your host. Get out of that chair if you can't handle it, huh?
Hey, you know, what can I tell you, man? You know, sometimes, you know, they keep the studio at 50 degrees for me, you know. Sometimes the lips get a little numb.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If you guys ever got into the studio, you'd really realize what it's like.
Yeah, you know, when people are the first time they're ever a guest on the show, they've heard us talk about that.
Yeah.
And when they come in here for the first time, it's like, oh, he was serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they realize, see? We have had a great weekend up in...
We did?
Yes, we did. Well, I did. Did you?
Oh.
Yeah. Quaker Steak and Lube, folks. What a fabulous place. I don't want to eat there. I want to live there.
Yeah.
The place inside is unbelievable. Motorcycles hanging from the ceiling, cars hanging from the ceiling. They got a boat hanging from the ceiling. I mean, it's just, you know...
They got TVs in the floor.
TVs in the floor. You're walking along the floor watching TV. I mean, you know, it's just a cool place. And you know me, I'm always Mr. Worrywart. You know, gee, I don't know the people up there as well. Maybe we won't get as many cars. My goodness, we had over 250. We counted 232 at one point. More cars rolled in. Another guy said it was over 250, but he didn't know the exact number. When the restaurant itself, to get into the restaurant, you couldn't get in because the folks were actually pushed up against the door waiting to get seated. And he's got a lot of tables. He can seat a lot of people in there. Anyway, the owner called me first thing Monday morning and said, wow, well, that worked out pretty good. So we now have Mr. Bill Church with Quaker Steak and Lube is going to be our 5th Saturday location. We've got the next one scheduled, which is in May. There's one time a year that I can't do the 5th Saturday, and that's when we do Pumpkin Run in October, but I'm sure we'll figure out something else for that month.
Sometime in October.
Sometime in October. He is also looking to do some benefit shows, some other things. He is very pleased. I think most all the people were pleased up there. There's always, you know, somebody who's not happy with something, but for our first time, I arrived there, the place was packed. He had motorcycles all over the place. And I looked at my wife and I said, this isn't going to work. Security said, no problem. Within an hour and a half, these cars will be gone, the bikes will be doing their poker run, and you'll have the whole place available. And sure enough, they did. So they were great people to work with. But good show, had a good time, went down to, did a little daytime show at Carvel before the Super Bowl. Still got everybody home in time to watch the
game.
The last 2 minutes of the game. It was the last 3 minutes.
It was a good game,
the whole game.
Yeah.
Wasn't it cool?
It was very.
Yes, and I actually sat, relaxed, and watched the whole game. And didn't even do car show stuff in between.
That's very good.
Yeah. My sons took me away from the house. They said, come on, you're going with us. So, anyway, good stuff happening. You ran up to Plant City to try to bring us some footage from up there, and I understand it was a freezing cold night.
Yeah, it was a cold night.
Yeah.
So cold that my digital recorder doesn't work anymore and I can't get the information off of it.
So what Bill is saying is that he's going to do what Lance usually does, and that is fly by the seat of his pants. Usually he has all his notes together and he's meticulous and got everything what he's going to say about the cars. So tonight we're going to see Mr. Mergens wing it.
Well, and you know, the thing is, other than the fact that now I don't have the people's names, and you
Right.
like to acknowledge that. You
Right.
know?
I
think that's the bad part about it. But
Right.
you know, everybody likes to see the cars. The footage isn't any different. It's just that.
Well, we've talked, there's a lot of car shows that go on where they don't even put stickers on the windshield.
Yeah.
At least a sticker on the windshield says it's, you know, Joe Schmo from Kokomo and what the car is, and at least it gives us some sort of information. Yep. And a lot of shows don't do that. But anyway, if Mr. Perkins is ready, Mr. Mergens is going to take us through Plant City and show us some of the gorgeous stuff they had up there.
Ooh, the first one, I know this car. Of course, it was a 1962 Cadillac Eldorado Baritz. And it was kind of, you know, that gold color, if you will. Excellent vehicle. And, you know, this guy kind of had a prime spot that he had parked in, but it really was something that stood out. I mean, I don't know how I didn't get to talk to him or anything, so I don't know if he really drives the car all that much, or if it was kind of a trailer queen. It certainly looked like it could have been.
This is all my dad ever owned when I was growing up as a kid was Cadillacs.
Tough. The sun was, oh, there we go. And, you know, you had to point the camera, get it away from the sun, otherwise you just couldn't get anything to focus at all. I mean, look at the chrome even on the, you know, the inside in terms of, you know, the handles and everything was Cadillac is what it was.
I like how he's got the color of that top match to the
Yeah.
car. That's pretty cool. Yeah, those were all big, beautiful boats, man. You could live in the trunk.
Yep. And again, you don't see a lot of those cars coming to the car shows. It's not thought of as being that kind of classic that people were driving a lot.
But that attitude's changing.
Yeah, it is.
You're
I mean,
seeing
we're
four doors, which years ago you didn't see.
You see everything these days.
You know, now
that's
you
very
see
true.
everything.
He sure did a good job on this car, though.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And I don't know if he, you know, how much of the work he did himself, but certainly was an excellent restoration. As was this 1958 Thunderbird convertible, and this was, I believe this guy's name was Bob, and I think it was Bob and Peg Hunter. He's out of Michigan, but they live in Sun City Center, and the car was certainly something that, you know, that was only a few of them that are left documented in the country anymore.
And you don't see too many T-Birds from the 50s.
No, you sure don't.
I mean, for these years.
And what was interesting with it, and I didn't really realize this, but I saw him later on in another show, that trunk actually works very much like the Skyliner retractable, in that the trunk comes up from the back, where the where you've got the tire. And so I thought that was kind of unusual the way that was. I would not have necessarily thought it that way with it being a convertible like that.
Did he work this for you, the top?
He didn't, no.
Great interior. I love the seats in these.
Yeah, and of course this, that speedster, version of it.
Which I didn't know they had in the 50.
And I don't really know that they did necessarily. It's certainly possible that that's a custom
He may have
feature they put.
customized it for
Yeah.
this. I know it was popular in the early 60 models, right?
Yeah, like Gary Carter's got his.
Right.
But extremely nice, vehicle, and I have seen him twice. He was down at Devereaux, and then he was also over at the AACA show this last Sunday. So he obviously is driving this baby around now. I failed to get a good picture of it. I really would like that. I really like the front end of this car. I mean, I think that that 58, certainly had an unusual front end, and it was something that really was pretty cool.
This is a gorgeous truck.
And again, this guy said to me, "Oh man, how could I get on TV?" I said, "Hey, you just got to ask. That's all."
Yeah.
And then of course we lost all of his information. So if you're out there, call
And
us.
you're watching, give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call. It's a 1947, as you can see, Chevy pickup. But again, a lot of the details I was unable to secure because of a little digital malfunction. But hopefully, we're going to correct that in the future.
This is a real, like a lime.
Yeah, it's
Would
yellowish.
you consider
It's
it a lime green
Yeah, there's a little bit more yellow in it, I think, than even the lime.
than even the lime?
Yeah.
I love the fender skirts.
Yeah, fender skirts on a truck.
Yeah.
Real
That
different.
is cool. Very well done. Now I'm looking at the bed in this too. Now either he's got an awful lot of gloss on that wood, or that's a mirror. Was it a mirror
I
bed?
think it is. I think it was mirror material.
Because that's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Very cool truck.
And that's a Michigan tag too. So I guess that's where he was from.